everybody. Welcome to Sunday Afternoon Dooger. I was just about to start talking, and then there was a tiny little knock on my door, and I was like, it's probably my kid. So I went to open it, and she brought me a little flower. I was like, have a good day at work, Mommy. Shut up. So cute. Adorable. It's very warm here. I don't know if you can tell from the tomato-ness of it all. But it's schwitzy, dude. Spent like all day outside yesterday. And have so far basically spent all day outside today. So, but it's been for fun reasons. It's been fun. Yeah, it's hot. We're having to like forcibly make our dog chill because she goes outside, plays really hard, and then we have to be like, and now you're done. And now you're going inside, and here's some ice to eat, and here's your cooling mat, and here's a bunch of water. Like, take a nap. And then you can come back out. Yeah, it's not even... I mean, we're all wearing sunscreen, obviously. This is just what my face looks like when I exert any kind of effort or get warmed up at all. When I was on dance team, I would get stopped by everybody else on the team pretty consistently to make sure that I was okay, because my face would be bright red while we were practicing if it was like a decently difficult dance. And I'd have to be like, no. This is just what happens here. This is just what happens with my face. I was freezing coming home today with 3 layers of warm clothing. Oh my goodness. Maybe we can meet in the middle. You send a little bit to us, we'll send a little bit to you. Like a beetroot, yeah. Beetroot is cuter than tomato, I feel like. But yes, very humid, very warm out here. I decided to do the classic thing. There's a couple of things that Sam and I have been putting off for so long in our house that are like pretty easy things to do. And so I did the classic. I messaged all of his old high school friends and said, what are you guys doing on this weekend? Do you want to like come over for a barbecue? And all of them said yes, even the people from out of town. And suddenly yesterday was like Sam and I going, all right, we got to get shit done before people get here. And it worked. And it worked. That's my life hack. If I'm like, this thing is pissing me off so bad that it's just sitting there, but I can't seem to get myself to do it, just invite a bunch of people over. And then be like, well, I want it to get done before they get here. So yeah. A really strong incentive. Even if later, which we did, even if later we're like, this is the tidiest our house has been in months, which Sam literally said to everybody. Who cares? It's tidy. So inviting people over to force yourself to make your place presentable. Yeah, basically. So, we had a whole situation where we when we moved here with my in-laws, we both had basically the same table, except one of them was way smaller. And they were just sitting in like awkward places. And I was like, I want to turn the smaller one into a kid's table, right? I want to like take the bottoms off of it. It was so old. So I want to just take the bottoms off of it, put shorter legs on it, and put some cute pillows out, and then they can sit on the pillows and like do crafts or whatever. And Sam's parents were like, wait, but we have a big family. If everybody comes over, where's everybody going to sit? And Sam and I were both like, don't worry. We'll like get a different table that's the same size as the other one so that it's a bit more uniform and we can actually fit everybody, because right now we still can't fit everybody, right? So we did that, except we miscommunicated and both Sam and I each bought a table. So there were 2 boxes that had tables in them just sitting outside for the last like week and a half. And we were like, we have to build these fucking tables. And I was like, you know what's great is we have 10 people coming over on Saturday. We just have to build it before Saturday. Knowing in my heart, in my mind and my heart, that we weren't going to build that shit until Saturday morning. And that's literally what happened. In the end, it turned out there were places for the tables. It was fine. It wasn't like we should just send one of these back. It was like, oh, well, this other area, it would be nice to have a table there. Anyway, so one of them we gave to my in-laws for them to have in their patio. And then the other one we have in like the area that everybody kind of uses. And we just popped them next to each other, and now it looks like a big square table, and there's plenty of room for everyone, right? So the task was successful. We did it. It's just that we left it until literally yesterday morning to build all of that shit. And his mom kept being like, honey, you only need to do a couple of these chairs. You don't need to do both tables. Like, just leave it. We'll do it later since you guys are giving us the table anyway. And Sam was like, no, this is not how my brain works. I am productive right now. I need to finish all of this. And she was like, okay. He was like, just imagine for yourself how shocked Dad is going to be when he comes home and this table's done. She was like, he will be shocked. He was like, I know. So just let me finish all of this, and then I can die, and then I can rest, you know. Doing it at the last moment is traditional. Yes. Yeah. So that's what we did. And then my kid got her like next belt up in martial arts. And that also timed out perfectly, where her level up grading whatever thing was happening at the exact moment we told everybody to show up. I had given everyone a window, like, I don't know, show up, you know, between 1 and 2, whatever. And they were like, yeah, all that stuff at martial arts starts around like noon. We were like, okay, it might be fine. But no. This was an hour and a half long thing. So, they didn't get home until people were already here. It's, you know, everything just flip-flopped together, and it wound up being fine and very fun and also exhausting. Yeah, she did very well. She's very proud. She was showing everybody her new belt. And then one of our friends was like, can you show me like one of your moves? And she was like, yeah, but you have to lay down so I can do a hold on you. And everyone was like, is Clark about to choke this man out? So, yep. And then today some family's coming over for a picnic. So she did not choke him out. No, it turned out he was about 4 times her size. So she got into hold position and he just stood up and she was like, ah! It was very good. Anywho, I hope you're all doing good. I hope you've all had a good weekend so far. Or even just an uneventful weekend is fine. Sometimes that's nice too. Hello. Hi, everybody. Everyone's trickling in. Hello, guys. The honestly, the biggest issue that we wound up having to deal with yesterday was Peach. It was Peach because she got so excited and riled up and overstimulated by all the people that were there. It was actually so nice. We brought her playpen out and put it like under a tree next to where we were. And so anytime she started like amping up a little too much, we'd just put her in her playpen. And she did fine. She was like a little huffy about it, but she would settle in pretty quickly like, oh, actually I need a minute. I think I need a breather. Big VTuber debuts happened. Oh, dang. Overeating instead of overdrinking, as one does to celebrate a birthday in the late 30s. Do you have your birthday? Happy birthday. Ooh. I was there and I'm so sleepy now. I don't know how I always forget, Olivier, that you're like big into the VTuber scene. I changed my sheets yesterday. I'm so proud. I didn't hear about the HoloLive English wave. I will look into it though. I'm going to be doing some cross-stitching today. What are you cross-stitching? We were making fairies. This morning. I found a place where they just have tires just for free to just come and grab. And I was like, hell yes. So I messaged them. I was like, hello. I have a series of children that really want to make fairy gardens in tires. It's a specific request. Can I come by this weekend and pick up tires? Didn't get a response until yesterday evening and was like, of course. When would you like to come by? Again, keep in mind, we only got one day left, dude, of the weekend. The children in question will be here midday the next day. So I immediately messaged back and was like, hi, fantastic. Yeah, I would like 4 of them. Could I come tomorrow morning? Could I, like, what's the plan? And I got no answer. So, no fairy gardens, but my kid was like, that's okay, because we didn't even make fairies and we have to make fairies for the fairy garden. I was like, is that how that works? In my mind, a fairy garden, you like put together a cute little landscaped shit for fairies. You don't like make the fairies. It's fine. Either way, cute project. I don't care. But she was like, we need to make the fairies, obviously. And so she made a bunch of fairies this morning, and they're very cute. Currently going through work training modules while listening. Thank you for helping me not lose my freaking mind. I hope you're doing okay. What kind of work? What are the training modules for? Reference to one of a gift from my dad, a reference to one of his favorite movies, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. I've never heard of that. It's a goofy 80s movie. Gotcha. A classic, very weird movie that I adore. Man, how have I not heard of this movie? Ah, got it. Crushed it. Thank you. Thank you for the blessings. I appreciate it. I found out yesterday that bocce ball has many, many, many different names. If you're somebody who calls it bocce ball, same club. Apparently out here it's called boules. I guess like a lot of different people call this game by completely different names. So we had a situation yesterday where somebody mentioned boules. I was like, I don't know what that is. And we were talking about it. And I was like, this sounds a lot like bocce ball. And then we continued talking about it. And I was like, I think it's the same game. So if you call it boules, it's the same as bocce ball. If you ever hear somebody talk about bocce ball. Is using tires in that manner safe health-wise? Oh yeah, people plant stuff in tires all the time. You have to wash them really well because you don't know like what sort of road grime and stuff has gotten all over them. But yeah, people reuse tires for planting stuff all the time. I hear a lot of children. I think everybody's here now. So I get to hang out with you guys before I become deeply overstimulated today. It's fine. Normally, if something's gonna happen on the weekend, it's one of the 2 days. It's very rare to have both Saturday and Sunday be like, and a bunch of people are over sort of days, right? And you know, Sam much more than me, but Sam and I are both like, we love our peace, you know? So while I adore being around friends and family and having people over, and it does like soothe some of what's going on with me, you know, normally I can do one of those. I can do one day of that, and then the other day needs to be like, and we're going to the garden. If we're leaving the house at all, we're going to the garden center. I'll get myself a little coffee. We'll window shop the plants. And otherwise, we're going to just kick it at home. Sit in the playpen with Peach. Yeah, Sam did that yesterday. There was a certain point, like, later in the day when Sam was just sitting in the playpen with Peach. And that's so... Not that you need an excuse to be like, I just need a minute. But, like, that's such an easy one that nobody's going to question. Because it's like, I have this baby dog that keeps having to be put in timeout because she's stealing everybody's shit. Because she's stolen 2 purses, 3 cars from a child, right? Like, so she had to be put in timeout, but she's a baby and she doesn't know why she's in timeout. So it's important that we interact with her and let her know that everything's fine, right? So yeah, that was an easy one for Sam to be like, I'm gonna play with Peach for a little while. We do have a baby dog now. We have a pooper, a little puppy. She's starting puppy training soon. She's broken out of her playpen now. She knows how to do that, which is very cool. Which is really cool. We were because it's hot, you know. So we were like, surely it's much better to say, let's chill it on the crate right now. And let her just sleep in the playpen, and she's done totally fine with that. So she's been sleeping overnight in the playpen. Everything's gone totally fine. But now we're like, she can get out of the playpen. She knows how to get out of the playpen. So now what? Now what do we do? You know? Crime dog. Yeah. Before, we had the crate in the middle of the room, so it had good airflow, and then had a fan on one side so that it was like blowing air. With the cooling mat inside of there, and we would give her a little bit of ice when she first went in, because that's basically a treat to her now. And like, that's fine, but surely just being out of an enclosed space is better, right? My little baby dog. You know, the other day when I was talking about Peach and somebody was like, you're like the meme, the dad that didn't want a cat meme. I've now used that to describe my relationship with Peach. And it makes everyone laugh every time. So thank you for that. Everyone that I talked to that was like, so how are you loving the dog? I've been like, I gotta be honest with you, I did not want a dog. Well, you know, I had to come around on the idea of having a dog, but out of everybody in my house, I was the one who was the most like, sure, we could get a dog, but I'm not doing anything with it, you know? And now she's my buddy, and we do everything together, and I love her, and she stresses me out, and it's great. It's great. She's great. Watson and Peach still don't interact. Peach is terrified of Sherlock. So scared of him. I'm proud of him, honestly, considering that he's sick. that he's feisty enough to be like, fuck off. I don't want to deal with you. She doesn't even bark at him anymore because he's so over it. Yeah. So, yeah, she's terrified of Sherlock. If he is in a room, she won't go in there. It's like intense. She really is super scared of him. She and Watson have like looked at each other and sniffed at each other a little bit, but mostly Watson keeps to herself upstairs, which is exactly why we sectioned off the upstairs, so that if the cats just didn't want to deal with it at all, they could just stay up there, and that's what Watson has chosen to do. Great. My mother-in-law's cat, Gus, who is indoor-outdoor, they chase each other around a little bit, but then Peach gets too intense about it and starts barking at him a bunch, and he runs away. So I'm really hoping that she's starting to figure out that barking is bad for friendships, that like barking at things makes everything go worse, you know? Hey, Sin. Sinvicta in chat was our guest on Geekenders. So that was very fun. When my dog was puppy and teething, she was a menace. Yeah. Everyone that I've talked to has been like, once they're out of the teething stage, once the little needles have fallen out of their mouths and they're not teething anymore, it's a whole different dog. Literally night and day. Like, she will be so fun to play with and hang out with when she's not desperately trying to bite everything, because it is like none of the kids want to play with her because she's just like, and I'm biting and I'm biting now, you know. It was very fun. Also, it was pointed out to me. I felt so bad. It was pointed out to me in the comment section on the VOD that I didn't put the pronouns up, and they were like in Pride Month, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I literally had them ready to go. I forget something every episode, dude. Every episode, there's something I have to go to Jesse and apologize for and be like, I'm so sorry, I fucked this up specifically. I was like, oh no, I forgot to put the pronouns on. So I know. A checklist might be useful, yeah. I think also this last week was weird because Jesse's power was out and we didn't even know if the episode was going to happen. So by the time we started, it was like, okay, let's go, you know? But I can't, I mean, I could, but it's weird. The pronouns are a separate overlay that is mapped out with where our pictures show up in Stream Together. So if I turn them on before there's 3 people, it's like little hovering things like on our faces. It's not in the right spot. So I have to wait until there's 3 people to turn them on. And I think I was just in such a hurry to be like, okay, we got to get the show going now once Jesse showed up that I didn't think about it. I didn't realize that I had missed it, so. Frozen carrots helped my puppy. Yeah, we've done carrots. She loves ice. She likes ripping up lettuce, which I have to make sure I pick up every bit of because lettuce just gets littered everywhere. So I've avoided that one recently. With the playpen, it might be fine. If she's in the playpen with lettuce, then it's at least contained. But that one doesn't necessarily help with teething. It's like the rip and tear sort of inclination. It kind of gives them an outlet for that. A lot of people have said cucumbers. I haven't done that. I made her a lick mat for today and threw it in the freezer because I forgot to do that yesterday and I felt bad because it was so hot. Yeah, I thought about finding somebody who does like really simple models and going to them and being like, hi, can you make a like really simple model of this and show them like the little animated Jessie. Lick mats, yeah. Both cats and dogs love them. They're really good for them. But they're little silicone mats typically that have like ridges and dips and like little little pockets to hold food in. And then you can put lots of different types of foods on there and try to kind of like shove them into the holes. And it acts as kind of a slow feeder. It takes them a while to eat everything out of there because it's all in the dips. But also it's like really enriching for them to like really work for their food and to like lick the thing. So a lot of times to make it last even longer, people will freeze it. So today I have the one that I made has like unsweetened plain yogurt and peanut butter and an egg yolk that Clark didn't want. So I just squished the egg yolk in there. And watermelon. And I'm freezing it. So later, when everybody's sitting down to eat and it's hot, I can give that to her and it'll be like a nice frozen treat for her, basically. But yeah, I do them for the cats too. If your animal eats, like wet or raw food, it's a bit easier. Oh yeah, I would go to Dan first to make sure it was okay since it's his design, but yeah. Yeah, it can be like a different type of it's like another sort of thing that can sort of stimulate them so that a lot of times if Peach has been running around and then I give her a lick mat, that's enough for her to be like, and now I'm Like I'm donezo, dude. I'm knocked out, you know. It's yet another thing that like that helps them feel like really fulfilled, you know, and like they can just chill. So yeah, my thing right now is trying to make sure that I learn what is and isn't okay to give them a lot of, you know. I don't want to give her too much of things that she shouldn't have that are like bad for her little body, you know. Obviously I'm not giving her anything that's bad for dogs, but you know, even the things that I just listed are like, she shouldn't be getting those things a lot, you know. Doggy junk food, kind of. It's still, you know, like egg protein, it's still fruit, it's still, you know, but just trying to make sure that it's not like disrupting how much of everything she should be getting. Did you get some sun? Yep. Yeah, I sure did. Even with sunscreen on, dude. I watched Clone Wars forever ago. I've never seen Bad Batch, no. I worked for 5 hours in the sun. My ears are burnt. Oh my God. So this part of my ears, right here on both ears, for the last like 2 weeks has itched so bad. And I was looking up like what specifically would make, and some of you are going to be like, Dodger, no. Dodger, yes. What specifically would make just the tips of my ears itch all the time? I was like, am I allergic to something? Like, what the hell is this? It's because I'm outside like double the amount of time that I was before with the dog, and my ears are like constantly getting burnt. And I didn't realize. So yeah. So that's why my ears are itching all the time, is because they're sunburnt. Oh, no, I haven't updated my about section. Aloe bath time. I do need a big old hat. I bought a hat, but, you know, like half a week ago. And the reason I bought it was because of Sports Day. And they sent a notice to all of the parents being like, hey, Sports Day is happening tomorrow. Make sure that your kid comes with like a hat with good like facial coverage. And Clark and I looked at each other like, because the only hat that she has is like a cap, you know. I was like, well, that's not going to protect your neck or anything. So I said, you know what? I'll ask what time you guys are heading out. And I'll run to like Primark or something and see if I can find a hat that'll work. And she was like, okay. Looking in the kids section, dog shit, absolutely nothing. And then I wandered into the gentleman's zone. And there was a big old bucket hat that was adjustable. It had like elastic inside of it, so you could make the actual like head part like basically as tight as you want. And I was like, hot damn. So I made it tight enough for my head and was like, that fits great. And I could make it way tighter. So I was like, okay, I'll just get this. And she wore it the whole day, and it worked great. I was like, fantastic. She's not going to need that all the time. That'll be my hat for when I'm outside. I'm glad that worked out, because kids section didn't have anything. Oh my gosh, Oblivious, thank you so much for the raid. How are you?
Welcome, everybody.
I'm in meat space today. I'm a flesh person. Doing well. I'm so glad. We were just talking about I have a puppy now, and I'm outside all the time. I was already outside a decent amount in the mornings to do like, you know, just general farm work. But I'm outside like double the amount of time that I was before. And I was saying, yeah, my ears started itching a lot. And I was trying to look up allergies or like trying to figure out like, why do my ears itch so bad? They were sunburned. It was sometimes the answer is just simple. Sometimes it's a really simple answer. So yeah, it's all good. I have a sun hat now. I have a big old bucket hat from Primark. It's not nearly as cottagecore cute as I think a wicker sun hat would be, but it do the job. It do the job. I thought it was leading to a case of the fleas. For ears? We've had fleas before. I still have nightmares about fleas. We've had fleas before, many moons ago. And, gotta tell you, my ears were never the things that were bit. It's always your ankles. If you have carpet on the ground, it's always your ankles. We're aiming to start season 4 late fall. I didn't see that. I don't know if you'll have time, but we'd love to see you again. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting to have like a goal. I gotta dust off my shroom, man. Yeah, thank you for telling me. I'll check out the announcements. Calling this flesh stream makes it sound to me like the VTuber is the vegetarian option. I'm a meat tuber. This is the vegetable tuber. We're currently dealing with a flea situation. Oh my gosh. In the end, literally all that we could do, I got the flea powder. I was putting that down every day. The issue with fleas, I'm so sorry to anybody who's had fleas and finds this talk like so upsetting. I get it because I've had them. And again, I still have flea nightmares. It's awful. But literally, I had to vacuum every single day, vacuum the bed every day, change the sheets every day, every single day. Change the sheets, wash everything, vacuum the bed, vacuum anywhere that's carpeted every single day. It was the only way because they just keep having babies. It sucks, but they went away eventually. Borax on every soft surface, vacuum, throw out the bag, wash everything you can wash on hot. Yes, as hot as you can wash it. And then once you have a handle on it, which will feel like forever, and you'll cry so many times, like I'm just gonna live with fleas for the rest of my life. You'll cry so many times, but eventually one day you'll be like, I haven't seen hide nor hair of a flea in forever. I'm so happy, right? So to maintain, after that, every like 6 months, even if you haven't even seen a flea, dude, every like 6 months, take one of those, either, yeah, like borax or like some kind of like a flea powder thing, put it all over your bed, all over the carpets. Just do the same thing that you were doing when you had fleas. And it'll just give you peace of mind. It'll just make you feel so much better. I'm clear of them now. It's joyous. Yeah. I had a friend who eventually resorted to just like, I don't think it counts as like a bug bomb, but like like did like a scorched earth sort of thing, right? Like got everybody out of the house, and just had people come in and like annihilate. Yeah. What does scorched earth mean? Scorched earth is a term for it's like the idea of like burning it all down, right? Just like I'm going to take everything down to its barest form. So in this situation, it's like, yeah, you can, put powder down, vacuum, 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 put powder down, vacuum, vacuum, because you're trying to like deal with the eggs that are hatching and then eggs hatching and then eggs hatching, right? So it's days and days and days and sometimes weeks and weeks of just like vacuum, 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 dust, dust, vacuum, vacuum. Or you can call a guy in who will come in and just basically poison them all to death and then clean your house. And then you're like, okay, well, they're all dead. I scorched them. They're dead now for sure. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Scorched Earth is a military strategy, destroying literally everything that would allow an enemy military to be able to continue to fight. You destroy every possible resource. I didn't know that's where it came from, but it makes a lot of sense. It feels nice to be up here streaming, just chilling. This feels very, very chill for me right now. After having such a hectic day. Like, and now I'm like, well, guys, I have to step away. I have to stream. I can't be around anyone. I have to be alone. Alone. I have to be alone. Birds chirping, fleas are gone. What a relaxing day. Yeah. Alone with you. I just forget Twitch has super chat. I don't see it. It shows up as cheers. It doesn't show up as like a super chat. You have to click it. Oh, I thought that this was the thing that makes stuff big in chat. Or even what have you done with the mushroom VTuber? I ate them. I learned panthers are, yeah, that. Yeah. Yeah. For VOD viewers, the rainbow pog face was just made gigantic in chat. Yeah, that. I thought that that's what that was. How are our piggies? They're good. It's hot, so they're just kind of like hanging out in their little house. And we go out there with the hose and hose down all of their mud so they can roll around and basically cover themselves in mud to protect from the sun. And we put up a little tarp for them. Refreshing the wallow space. Exactly. Just give them mud instead of just doit, you know? Do I still watch anime? I do. I don't watch as many things each season as I used to. Might change though. I'm in a new anime podcast that's being started. That's like a little book clubby. So it's like we watch all or part of an anime and then talk about it. So yeah, that'll encourage me to watch more stuff. But yeah, it's called Anime Cult with a V, CVLT. Yeah, we haven't done our first episode yet, but I was like, we should do Cowboy Bebop because neither of them have ever seen Cowboy Bebop before. You need to promote these things. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have Twitter. No, it's literally, it's such a new announcement and it hasn't even started yet, so. Mm-hmm. We made a, when we first had a call being like, hey, should we do this? We made a spreadsheet of a bunch of different anime. Like all of us were like, all right, here's anime that we all think would be fun to do, right? And then how long it is, if an anime or if the manga also exists, all that sort of stuff. And then there was also a section. There was also a section of check boxes for us to say whether or not we've already seen it, just to get an idea of like when we go in, who's already watched this thing, right? And I was pleasantly surprised to find out that even though I have not been consistently watching anime since I had my kid, I'm still the person who has watched the most anime out of this group. Mathis has seen a lot of older stuff. So a lot of the stuff that he's seen is like 90s stuff for the most part, it seems like. He hasn't watched a lot of modern things. Which I think is pretty interesting. We're trying to talk about how, so when we did Manga Pod, we would try to put out a list of like our plan for the next 6 months. What manga were we going to read for the next 6 months? A big discussion that we had when talking about Anime Cult was, it's a bit easier to plan stuff out when it's anime, because with manga, the thing that we would run into all the time is like 20 chapters of Bleach is different from 20 chapters of Monster, right? Like some manga is so wordy and so dense. Some manga is monthly, so the chapters are way longer. So it was very like, you just didn't know how long it was going to take you to read 20 chapters, you know? So we would generally aim for 20 chapters, try to do our due diligence about like, is this monthly or not? If it's monthly, maybe we'll pare it back. But sometimes it was a weekly manga, and these people had so much to say. It took so long to read it, right? What's nice about anime is generally anime episodes are the same length. So you can plan out like, okay, I have this many episodes I need to watch and I have this much time to do it in, right? So how many do I need to be watching at a time? How do I fit this into my schedule? So this can't be a weekly thing because it's just too much to ask that all of us watch an entire series or like, a bunch of a show in just a week, like, because week to week, who knows how much time we'll have. So yeah, there are lots of things for us to sort of like feel out. I brought up that on MangaPod, we wound up having to have it in separate chunks, right? So the first part of MangaPod was like, here's the summary. Here's generally how we felt about it, whatever. And then the second chunk would be, and now we're going to talk in spoilers, right? And now we'll say whatever we want, right? You're getting spoiled here. So do we want to do that with this podcast? Do we want those to be separate? So like, 1 week the thing comes out that's like Cowboy Bebop. What is it? What's it about? How did we feel about it? And then the thing that comes out the next week is like the spoilery episode. Like, what do we do? Right. So we're just going to feel it out and see what works. The massive info dumps in some JJK chapters. I feel like sports manga is so bad for that. Because they'll be like, but what if the reader doesn't know the sport? And depending on who's writing the manga, sometimes they'll have a chapter that's like, all right, gang, here's how basketball works. And you're like, don't. And it's just an info dump of how the sport works. And it's not engaging and it's not fun to read, I don't know if Tatami Galaxy is on the spreadsheet. I would have to go look. I had to leave while they were still working on it. I love those info dumps in sports manga. It's so funny because it's always like, you don't know who that character is going to be. There's an everyman. There has to always be an everyman. There's a character that's the reader, right? Who's like, I just don't know how this works. And then everyone, zoom, turns to look at them and tells them everything about what they're talking about. About what the sport is. Sorry, I got distracted by a bunch of screaming. My favorite info dumps were air gear. Nothing they said was accurate to real life. Yeah, I think the plan is like solidify our list, talk about like what's doable, right? Because as much as it would be fun to be like, and now we're doing One Piece, that's its own podcast, right? Like it's surely, so figuring out what's accessible, what do we do when it needs to be a multi-parter? When we start an anime, do we want to try to finish it every time, or is it okay to be like, this is the first arc of this anime, or what I found with MangaPod is that when people really like the thing that you're trying to cover, they feel very precious about how you choose to cover it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it does mean that you need to be super conscious of like, okay. So, for example, again, say that we're doing a manga and we're going to do 20 chapters. Somebody would go on the subreddit and say, you can't stop at chapter 20. You have to stop at chapter 35. And we'd go, well, we're not going to read 35 chapters. Because it's the night before we're supposed to be done and we're not adding 15 extra chapters on. And they'd be like, but you're in the middle of an arc. And we go, okay, I guess we're just going to end in the middle of an arc then, because we all went in blind on this new manga, right? And the people that really like that manga and have already read it are like, to them, they're not going to get the right review if you haven't hit a natural stopping point, which again, I totally agree with and makes sense. But also, you know, we would go to viewers and things sometimes and be like, how many chapters of this should we read? And it was always way more than we were able to read, you know? We go, I'm sorry, we're doing this show weekly. We just don't have the time to read that much manga between now and next time we do this show, you know? So yeah, it's hard. It's hard figuring out what the right answer is for that. I do think sourcing information from listeners is a good idea with stuff that none of us have ever seen. If somebody's seen it, then it's easy enough to be like, okay, this is on you to say what the stopping point is, right? What's the end of an arc, whatever. But if none of us have, and I think it should be on the table for us to watch stuff that none of us have watched before, how do we get like an honest, doable answer of like, this is how much you guys should watch to come to a good stopping point? We're in an ad break. Disgusting. Da 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 da. Da 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 No, I'm not okay. Ads snuck up on me. It's the worst feeling in the world. Is she twerking during the ad break? Tell them yes. You're a sub. You know I'm not. Sure. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten a text that anybody's dead, so I'm assuming everything's fine. I think I just got confused on what twerking was. Twerking is when your booty goes ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Which I think we can all agree is not what happened. I was tabbed out. I'll treat this as Schrodinger's twerk. You know what? Whichever soothes your heart. Knowing that twerking happened or knowing it didn't happen. Both are true for you. Excuse me. We're all twerking on the inside? It's so warm. Yep. I wanted to say, no matter how protective you feel about a manga, you have to really ask yourself what you're expecting from a podcast and whether or not it's totally fair to hosts. I do know that all of you on MangaPod always give something a fair shot. We tried to, yeah. And there are things like, I think the biggest example for me is like Boku no Hero. However you feel about Boku no Hero, if you've kept up with it and whatever. When I first read Boku no Hero Academia, I did not like it. Considering how much I enjoyed it later and how much I liked the anime, I really didn't like it at first. And that happens sometimes. And that was one of the episodes where a lot of people were like, you didn't get to the good shit. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, you know? It's a slow start, dude. Thank eggs. Thank eggs. Thanks, eggs. My Hero isn't done, no. Right? It's not done. I dropped off with it. I think it's zooming toward an end, but I don't know how close to an end it is. The manga's in its epilogue. Oh, well, there you go. I was the opposite. I liked My Hero Academia at the start. Once it paced up, I lost interest. I think something that I find frustrating pretty much across the board with these manga that wind up becoming like big three sort of manga, right? Where it's like there's all these characters and it's a, you know, big, like powerful world with all kinds of shit going on. I always find myself disappointed with how characters that aren't spotlight characters are treated and how they're written and how they're developed. And you can say, yeah, but with these sorts of things, the fandom is there's always going to be a group of people that love a character that didn't get that much love in the actual text. And, you know, they take on a life of their own in the fandom. Like, sure, I agree. That doesn't mean I don't find it frustrating. I think for me, because I was obsessed with Naruto was really rough for me. And when I've talked about this before, people have been like, you should watch Boruto. Because there's some development that happens with some of the original characters in Boruto. And I'm like, but I don't want to watch Boruto. I just don't. Mm-hmm. It's not the fans' responsibility to do that. Yeah. Yeah. They made so many characters really unlikable in the little Boruto that I watched. Good. I tried watching Boruto and I promptly stopped watching Boruto. He trash. My favorite is when a fight scene from Boruto goes viral because it's very cool looking. I'll watch that and be like, wow, that was cool. But beyond that. I don't really engage with it. The Boruto manga hits hard. Character assassination, the manga. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Filler can be hard. I feel like I shouldn't say this. I was going to say I feel like filler isn't as much of an issue with modern anime because everything is so much more seasonal than it used to be. But yeah, if you're trying to watch One Piece or God, the last 100 episodes of original Naruto before they swapped to Shippuden, right? Like literally all of that's filler, which is wild. Complaining about filler, what year is it for real? I don't think we really deal with that problem that much anymore. But anybody who's trying to like go back in time and watch stuff that started, years ago runs into filler all the time. And it's like, I thought I didn't have to do this anymore. Just read the manga, the Boruto manga, forget the anime. 16% of the anime is canon. Amazing. Filler is why I stopped Bleach. Remember that arc in Bleach where everybody's weapons turned into hot people? I do. I do. Mm-hmm. Nodders. I'm not that into anime. Why is filler not a thing now? We don't deal with filler that much anymore because there were two issues that showed up a lot in older anime. One of them is that anime like Dragon Ball and Naruto and Bleach, they didn't operate seasonally, so they would just go. Episodes would just come out every week. And there wasn't always content to make episodes of, right? Or they would need to buy a little bit of time between arcs. So they would just make stuff up. So One Piece has filler kind of trickled throughout it. Naruto has a massive chunk of 100 episodes of filler. And that's not even all of it, right? But again, this is from 10, 15 years ago. This was more normal. And then the other issue that showed up all the time that I, again, don't think really happens that's the bucket hat. It's literally right there. Anyways, I could have just showed it to you. Anyways, the other issue that happened a lot around that time that I don't think happens as much anymore is shorter shows that were like 13 or 23 episodes. Sometimes they would decide to make an anime. I think Soul Eater is the first one I'm thinking of right now, but there's tons of examples of this. Full Metal Alchemist. They would start making an anime of a manga that wasn't done. And then they would just make up an ending. So you'd watch the anime and be like, that was fun. The ending was kind of weird though. And then you'd go read the manga and realize that the manga was still going and it's not over. And they just created an ending. So for something like Full Metal Alchemist, and plenty of people love the first Full Metal Alchemist ending. But for a lot of people, the first Full Metal Alchemist anime is skippable if you really love the manga. And then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is what a lot of people will recommend because that's actually Arakawa's story, right? Like that has the actual ending. That's true. There's also a lot more anime being made right now. That's very true. I never knew why people recommended Brotherhood over the original. Yeah, Brotherhood follows the manga. The issue that some people have with Brotherhood is that it operates under the assumption that you probably watched the first anime. So the stuff that is the same in the first anime, they kind of zip through it a little bit. It's not jarring, it's not breakneck, but the pacing in the first couple of episodes of Brotherhood is a lot faster than feels normal, because they're trying to get through the stuff that was already done in the original anime so that they can get to the point where it like diverts a little bit and things are a little bit different. Hi, Summer. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna wrap up in a few minutes here and go hang with my family. But thank you for the chill anime talk. I appreciate it. It's been nice. It's been nice to have an excuse to just be like, I have to sit in my office for 2 hours. So. Kaiju number 8 has been fun to watch. I'm really curious about Kaiju number 8 because that's another manga that I did not enjoy that much. Like, it was fine, but it really didn't grab me, and it was highly recommended. And I kept thinking to myself, like, it might be one of those stories that kicks off a bit better, kind of what we were talking about before, right? Like, past what we read, it might hit a stride, and it might have a more obvious direction that it's going in. If I recall correctly, I'm going to try to say this as spoiler-free as possible. If I recall correctly, Kaiju number 8, I was disappointed in because I thought... I'm trying to think of how to say this. I thought what happened to the main character was a bit obvious. You know? It was a little predictable. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I was just, for some reason, being led to believe that it wasn't going to happen. And then when it did, I was like, oh. Okay. That's fine, I guess. So the world building wound up being different than I expected. It's nice not having a kid main character. That's so true. Yes, I do feel that. There are a couple of different manga reviewers that I follow, and the number of times that people reach out to them like, hey, I would love to read a manga in this genre where the characters are adults. You know, that is such a common request. Yes, Unbound, that's what I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to read it out loud, but that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a bit more like slice of lifey and like a shonen battle world, you know? But that's not what it is, and that's fine. I know, I saw there's going to be a live action Cells at Work. I never watched the anime, but it made me want to watch the anime. Yeah, I think the point is that we have so many examples of young being like, you know, mid-teens and under, of young characters as the main character in like an action story, right? So yeah, of course it's fun to watch them like grow into an adult and have to deal with, you know, power and whatever, but it's also nice to have like, this is a person who thought the rest of their life was sorted. You know, they're an adult, they're settled in their life, maybe they're not satisfied with it, but like they didn't expect anything interesting to happen at this point, and that's a totally different kind of story to tell, you know. The only thing you can do in your 30s in an anime is get isekai'd. Yeah, the chosen one narrative when you've got a job and and rent or a mortgage. Yeah, like that sort of that crossover of things. I think that sort of stuff is fun. All right, let's start wrapping up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I was worried I'd show up and have zero energy, but actually it felt really nice to come do this. So raid leader's open if anybody would like to grab it. And let me read this off really quick. 2 days ago, too far. All right. Abtacha, thank you for the 13 months. Rika Chiki, thank you for the 41. Tagalongs for the 57. Asher Lee for the 94. Lenny Live for the 19. Dr. Jazzfist for the 80. Oblivious, thank you again for the raid. If any of you stuck around after the raid from Oblivious, come hang out. I'm normally a mushroom, except on the weekends. Jazz Jackrabbit, thank you for the 96. Dane 1 for the 64. Leftum for the 7. Mighty Deacon for the 78. Miss Haribo, or Misharibo, thank you for the 2. Geek Step for the 110. Happy 9 years. Happy anniversary. Thank you so much. And Pau Mago, thank you for the 56. Michael Risky. Let me do my due diligence. Escape from Tarkov. Sure thing. Alrighty. Go say hi, spread love and joy. We've got Sunforge tonight.
If you watch Sunforge, if you like D&D and you think Joe's a good DM,
Sunforge is tonight, 8:30 p.m. Come hang out. Otherwise, I'll be here tomorrow. Alrighty. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.